So hello friends, very good day. Here I am Bappa again. Today we'll take a jab at a bit lighter topic. We'll do some book review which are very important and essential for every startup founder or entrepreneur to read and understand and appreciate and consider and then compare with his own learning. So we'll review about those books today. So these are the books that I feel very important to go through at least once. It opens up your mind. So to start with, I have three categories. One is like kind of appetizers. So these first three books, okay, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, The Google Story by David Weiss, and Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So these books are kind of appetizer. Okay, so if you are just happy-go-lucky guy in your teenage and enjoying life, you should go through this. Unless you go through this, probably this will be your first nick with this startup world, and your mind will be like start thinking ki, is it right what I'm doing, or I should do something for me, is it going the right way or not? So those kind of questions start coming after you read these books. Okay, so we'll briefly look at them. Then the next bunch is these three. These are, I would say, practitioners handbook. Those who are actively doing something or just beginning to do something, they should go through this. The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. Then You Must Have to Sell, You Can Sell by Shiv Khera. So every book has their own nuances. We will discuss about them. And this is a masterpiece, The 4 Steps to the Epiphany by Steve Blank. The Steve Blank guy, this serial startup owner guy, he's the guru of this guy, Eric Ries. Okay. And then the last thing, the strategist book. So everything need a strategy. So these two books are very good for strategists who are designing products and services, who want to build it from scratch and are struggling with choices. Okay, so these two, the Blue Ocean Strategy by Chan Kim and Rene Mugun, and Innovators Dilemma, Clayton Christensen. Okay, so let us start with the appetizers. Okay, the first one we can start with 0 to 1. Okay, so let me go closer. Okay, let me keep the so I am not talk a lot about these books, these appetizers. So this is by Peter Thiel, founder of PayPal. So this book actually give you the stories of many founders. It talks about Elon Musk, it talks about LinkedIn journey, it talks about their own journey in PayPal. So let me read out a little part. So you can see they have discussed like millions, billions, and present value of cash flow of tech company like LinkedIn. Then if we read up here, I think you can see it. So for a company to be valuable, it must grow and endure. But many entrepreneurs focus only on short-term growth. They have excuse. Growth is to measure, but durability is not. So, however, you can hit those numbers and strike over, still overlook deeper, harder to measure problem that threaten the durability of your business. So these kind of things, these are from straight from the horse's mouth. So I think going through these books really valuable. The Google Story, read it just like a storybook. Okay, nothing much. You learn the Google story, the people, the motivation, and those things, how they got their first funding, how the funding, how some luck clicked for them, those kind of things. And this is Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is about your own finances, you can say. So there are many book reviews in even in YouTube and other places. So if you see the main thing for this, so I bought this book very old from a old book vendor. So these are the main things. So he gave in this book very simple cash flow of three person. One is like poor person. This is the cash flow of poor person. He earns from job and he does the expenses and all the money is gone for the month. And then this is for a middle class guy. Okay, so what he does, he earns, he has some liabilities are like mortgages, consumer loans, credit cards, okay, for us home loans. And then he does his expenses and his money finish. And the last guy, who is the wealthy person, his cash flow is like he has got some assets and his assets generate income from him for him. Okay, so his assets are like stocks, bonds, notes, real estate, intellectual property, maybe some company he owns. Okay, and his income are dividends, interest, rental income, and he has no liability. And how people look at their asset, liability, those kind of things are discussed in this book. So you can see, for a rich dad, an asset is a home is a liability, and for poor dad, a home is an asset. So there is a different view perspective. So you may or may not agree with it. You might debate within yourself or you might discuss with others, but this book is obviously a little thought provoking, and it will make you think. Okay, so now we are done with the appetizers. So let me go a little, then now the handbooks. So the first book that come up is the Lean Startup. Some lean revolution started with this book, something like that. It's told, but let us see what is very good in it. So I have a habit of making too many notes on the book in the sidelines, so those are there. So let us discuss about some very good things, like, so this book, this guy Eric Ries, he was running a startup, IMVU is some chatting platform between friends. Okay, so he starts the book with how did they fail, okay, and what it felt like. So the day they realized it is not working, so what they realized is really like this. It was like a breakup scene from a Hollywood movie. Okay, it was raining and we are arguing in the street. We could not even agree on where to walk next, and so we parted in anger, heading in opposite direction. So you will feel the real pain going through this book. Okay, then let's say you can also compare where you are in your journey. When you compare your journey with them, so startup should have vision, mission, and those things are described here. So I'll go to some like like this thing. So they ran a company called IMVU. Okay, IMVU. So they did so many things. So if you read up here, the add-on product was so large and complex and had many moving parts, and we had to cut a lot of corners to get done on with time. So I won't means word, but they were in a mess, and then they launched. Okay. And this I find really funny, and it happened to everybody probably. And then after launch, nothing happened. So it happens to many people, unless you launch with some celebrity presence in some big hotel halls, right? So you launched silently some website and nobody knew. It turned out that our fears were unfounded because nobody even tried our product. So you can read some real startup story here, and how then they made it to work. And then this book has talks about MVP, minimum viable product. So it is not worth making a very huge thing without knowing whether customer will accept it. And they learned it the hard way, and it is written here, and you can if you were running a startup, you can relate to it very easily because I can do it. And so I'll talk about a specific story about a Dropbox. We all know about Dropbox. So what happened with Dropbox? So now, if you come here and read, Drew Houston is the CEO of Dropbox, a Silicon Valley company. So the thing is, if you want to make the whole Dropbox thing work, and then present it to the market and the investors, and they find it of no use, then it is a huge loss to you, because it will take almost 1.5 hour, a half year to finish this project. So how to cut it short and still yet know how whether it will work in the market. So what they did, what CEO of Dropbox, Mr. Drew Houston, did, the challenge was that it was impossible to demonstrate the working software in a prototype form. The product required that they overcome significant technical hurdles. It also had an online service component that required high reliability and availability. To avoid the risks of waking up after years of development with a product nobody wanted, Drew did something unexpectedly easy. He made a video. Okay, so if you read up here, the video is banal, a simple 3-minute demonstration of the technology, and it is meant to work, but it was targeted at the community of technology early adopters. Drew narrates the video personally, and as he is narrating, the viewer is watching his screen as he describes the kind of files he would like to synchronize. So here is a you can say mock-up kind of thing, and just by selling this mock-up he could generate funding for his projects, and he could also find some beta testing users. Okay, so you can go through these real stories from right from the straight from horse's mouth, so really good value. Okay, then the master stroke, I think this is the best I have read ever. The 4 steps to the epiphany by Steve Blank. This guy also is successful startup guy and serial startup guy. Okay, and he's the boss of this guy, Eric Ries. Okay, so I found this book. This book is very thick, by the way, too many pages to read, and I have only found it useful up to the first chapter, because after that it becomes like going into very much specific of how a startup can work, trying to give you a formula. So I personally find that all business are not equal. They don't operate under same circumstances in similar kind of market. Okay, their products and services are different, users are different, so funding is different. So going up to that detail level, what the writer tried in the latter chapters, giving you a formula and table and flowchart, is really not probably will not fit with all the business, but the first part is really good. So what it says, the traditional thing, the engineer, I'm an engineer, so my mindset also is the same. If I run a startup, I build a good product. Okay, many of us who are engineers, we build a good product, and we normally follow this concept. We develop, we test, then we launch, and we never cared in between about the customer feedback. Okay, and then it come as a bolt out of the blue to us. So his concept is, don't only develop your product, do customer development parallelly when you are doing product development. So get feedback, get some learning, and inculcate it into your products. Okay, so and this is a kind of like what should I say, it is kind of like a new age book, and all the modern theories are in it, so you will enjoy it thoroughly for the first chapter at least. So it talks about early adopters, and then the chasm. So you might have heard, if you are into startups, you might have heard of this kind of this customer development and product life cycle. Okay, and the path to epiphany, here what it says, the path should be like this. You should do customer discover, customer validation, customer recreation, and customer building. So you should do customer development while you are doing product development. So these two should go hand in hand, and you should get feedback, and accordingly you should alter your product and your plannings. Okay, so and when I am into startup, I could see that the effort what goes into product development is a lot higher than market development, but it should be 50-50, or I would even say 70% should go into customer development and market development, effort, time, budget, everything, and only 30% should go into your product. So that is how business work. If you see a shampoo bottle come at 150 rupees, the content in it is not of even 20 rupees when mass produced. All the other costs are come from marketing, channel development, celebrity endorsement and advertising and hoarding and all those. Okay, packaging, change of color, so designing, so all these things. So this is a very good book, so I suggest you go through it. The first chapter is really very good. Okay, so anything else I need to say about it? Page number 2 has got something. Okay, so it's done. Next we go to some strategy books. Okay, so I would like to say start with this Blue Ocean Strategy. This is a really good book. So if you are still into the ideation of your product or services, this book will really help you. So what it says, Blue Ocean is where the competition is less, there is no cutthroat competition, and you can create huge money without competition. So how can you create such a product or service that gives you very little competition and you can do good very fast? Okay, so first of all, it has a create, it has this, it's got this cycle, this one strategic framework: reduce, eliminate, raise and create features. So let me give you an example. These are called the strategy canvas. Okay, so this shows three kind of companies. So let me show you a different one. Southwest Airlines. Okay, so what this Southwest Airlines did, what they did is, so if you see in the market there are average airliners. What is the alternative to them? The taxi. This is this dotted line, and this dark farm line is Southwest Airlines. So they looked at different feature what customer wants, and they created, eliminated, reduced and raised certain things like price. Everyone would like a low price, right? Taxi price is even low. So then meals, airline meals cost is high, taxi give you no meal. So these are all zero for taxi: lounges, seating, class choice and half connectivity. So but these average airlines give you everything a little bit. Okay, so what this Southwest Airline guys could see that everybody want to pay less price. So what feature the user really want is this three: friendly service, speed of service, I need to reach very quickly, and frequent point to point departure, which is very high for taxi. Taxi can go from any point to any point, but airliner needs some airport. Okay, so what they did, they reduced price, they are serving no meals, they are like cost effective airline. They do not have very VIP kind of lounge, they do not have sitting class choice, but they have friendly service. They have very speedy services, like here Air Deccan did, Indigo did. So that kind of thing. So this is kind of strategy canvas. So if you are selling something like any product, you can build up some features more and reduce and even eliminate some feature to have be cost competitive. So this book asks you to be doing value innovation. Value innovation is giving value at a lower cost. At the same time you are innovating. Unless you innovate something new, you cannot give value at lower cost, right? So that is what this book calls about. So there are many strategy canvases. This is another about NetJets. There are about gym. This is about women gym. So this women who are household women mainly, they need womanly fun atmosphere, convenience and non-threatening same-sex all female kind of environment. So this gym came up with that feature, and other things like price, amenities, they reduced workout time, availability of highly sophisticated equipment, they reduced them and they did really well. So this book talks about that. And apart from the strategy, it talks about alternative, complementary, and this is a good what you would like to read is in appendix A, some stories from old times. I really like them a lot. So you see, this is the old classic story of automobiles industry when Model T came. Okay, when Model T came, what happened, how it was like horse cart driven logistics, and then Mr. Henry Ford came with Model T, how it changed, then how what General Motor did in response to that. General Motor was like very elite kind of vehicle manufacturer that time. So after Model T came, what they did, then how Japanese car affected the scene. Okay, then how Chrysler minivan became a winner. Then come the computer industry, the tabulating machine, then the electronic computer personal. Then they talk about compact and Dell, and these are really very fascinating stories, and it will really give you some good perspective. And then I would come to this. You will finally realize you must do some hard selling, right? Even after all this feature design, all customer feedback and everything, you need to do some hard selling. So this book is perfect for that. And this is kind of little old school, uh, more like old days and traditional classical views of things, but I think that sometimes works up. You might debate, you might have a different perspective to things, but you should read it, and you may take it. Even I didn't like some of the things narrated here, but I think you should read it and get the perspective from who actually did some selling really. Okay, and this book is very good for some one-liners. If you look at here, keep things simple to understand. Remember, your customer is neither a genius nor a scientist. So this is really very true. So I would like to read a few more, like this one. Cardinal rule: a customer is interested in the benefits of the product and not in the features. So this is what we sometimes forget. We are really talking about technology, feature and everything. So customer understand only his benefits. So similar, in the similar line, there is another one. So I will finish with that. It's very interesting one-liners actually. People don't buy what they need, people always buy what they want. And this is very true. We don't need if we are hungry we need food, but we end up buying burger and french fries. So 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 we need to understand what we can buy and sell. Okay, and the last one is Innovators Dilemma. I will not get into it in very deep, because this is for bigger companies who are already established and they cannot roll out a mediocre product in the market. So that is a really problematic thing for them. So and then there is another book on the back of it, the solution to Innovators Dilemma. So even this book is very big, and so I couldn't even finish it. But it's not much for startups, so but you can give it a try. So that is it. I think you loved it. So also let me know about your views in the comment section. Thank you very much. Bye.